Hello, y'all. I wanted to update you guys on something here. I'm back up to almost $30,000. I could have been back to where I was because I sold here in this window. And it just kept going up and up and up. And look at this big giant green candle that I missed out on right here. Whoa. That's in the last hour, it just shot up in price. But the reason why I got out is because I think that it's going to come down here. Well, take it for what it's worth because I don't know. And if you guys have followed my trades or watched me over the past month, you've seen this account go from 35 to like 17 and now 28. So, and I'm also $1,400 in the negative on this short position. So, blah. Not financial advice, obviously. Anyways, I wanted to do something different here. Let's zoom in for you guys so you get a real good idea of what I'm about to ask Hawk. Let me know if you want me to add anything else. Also, follow me, y'all. Akia on bottom. And yeah, I post my videos so you can see my videos. Random conspiracy things, my P&L, pictures, raccoons teaming up on me. Anyways, here we go. I asked Grok, can you break down the astrological sentiment towards the stock market and cryptos while focusing on XRP and XRP's birth chart, meaning its first block's time and location as its birth date for the next 24 hours. And I can do this every 24 hours. That way we can get an astrological sentiment for the markets in general. Astrological sentiment analysis for financial markets, particularly cryptocurrencies like XRP, involves interpreting planetary movements and their potential influence over market behavior. And we are on 8/3 actual time. Okay. So 8/3 to 9, 8/3 to 8/4. Pause. Okay, well, I didn't see too much of a change there. So we are currently looking at the Saturn and Neptune still, which is the birth of coinage. It doesn't happen until next year at a 0-degree alignment, but Aries, the constellation Aries. Wow. Okay, well, let's go back over here to Grok. This approach is considered pseudo-scientific by mainstream financial analysts as it lacks empirical evidence, but it has a niche following among some traders who believe celestial events impact human decision-making and market trends. Below, I'll break down the astrological sentiment for the stock and crypto markets with a specific focus on XRP using its birth chart, quote-unquote, based on the first block of the XRP ledger. I'll also address the challenges of pinpointing XRP's exact birth details and provide general outlook for the next 24 hours. August 3rd, 8:15 p.m. to August 4th at 8:15 p.m. 16, but whatever. XRP's birth chart, first block, time and location. I think it was... No, that was Doge. Doge was born in Seattle, I think. Something like that. Sorry if I'm a bit... I just had a whole thing of veggie broth, so... A little bit like... I'll try to... The XRP ledger was launched in 2012 with its Genesis block. Ooh, Genesis block. That's cool. Marking the quote-unquote birth of XRP. According to available information, the XRP ledger was deployed in 2012 with key development milestones in June and September of that year, when Ripple, the open coin, I guess Ripple was called the open coin back in the day, when Ripple was founded by David Schwartz, that stinker. Arthur Brito, hero. However, the exact time and location of the Genesis block are not explicitly documented in public records, which poses a challenge for precise astrological analysis. For astrological purposes, the quote-unquote birth of cryptocurrency is often tied to the timestamp and location of its first block or significant operational milestone. I'll come back to the birth. I'll do some research on my own and we'll find out. And I'll say, hey, Grok, guess what? I found that birth chart. Let's go ahead and get a, for the next 24 hours thing, if we're going to be doing that every day. So, is often tied to the timestamp and location of its first block or significant operational milestone. Without a precise timestamp, astrologers typically use a symbolic date, such as the public announcement or launch event. For XRP, a commonly referenced date is September 2012. When Ripple officially founded, though some sources point to June 2nd, 2012, as the approximate start of the XRP ledger's operation. The location is often assumed to be San Francisco, California, where Ripple Labs is headquartered. For this analysis, I'll assume a hypothetical birth chart for XRP based on June 2nd, 2012. Okay, as a reasonable midpoint for the ledger's launch. This is a speculative placeholder as the exact time is unavailable. If you have a specific timestamp or location, please provide it for more detail for more tailored chart. Below is a general breakdown of XRP's birth chart and its implications. Sun and Gemini. Oh. If XRP was born June, it means it's a Gemini. I'm a Gemini. You know what they say about Geminis? They do it on the table. The sun would be in Gemini, suggesting adaptability, communication, and innovation. Gemini's influence aligns with XRP's role as a fast, efficient, cross-border payment solution, emphasis moon placement, Mercury in Gemini, Venus in Gemini, Mars in Virgo, Uranus in Aries, ascendant, rising sun. Okay, astrological sentiment for stock and crypto markets next 24 hours. Maybe we'll get a more detailed answer from Grok about what is in line for XRP over the next 24 hours based off of its birth chart analysis that it did, but we'll find out. Astrological sentiment for financial markets is based on the premise that planetary alignments influence collective human... Okay, can we just not have the history lesson here? Moon in Sagittarius on August 3rd, 2025. The moon, August 3rd, 2025. Moon is likely in Sagittarius. The moon is likely in... You know or you don't know? A sign associated with optimism, expansion, and risk-taking, which explains this situation. This could foster a bullish sentiment and I should have stayed in that long position. In both stock and crypto markets, as traders may feel more confident in taking speculative positions, Sagittarius encourages a global perspective, which may benefit cryptocurrencies like XRP, designed for cross-border transactions. However, the moon's aspects, for example, squares or oppositions, could introduce volatility if it clashes with planets like Mars or Saturn. Okay, that is moon Sagittarius. If it clashes with planets like Mars or Moon, Mars, Saturn. Actual time. Where's Earth? I don't think it clashes with Mars or Saturn. Well, that's August 13th. And the moon is now in alignment with Saturn. Let's go back. That's August 11th. Ooh, that's the Euphoria Day. So I think we're fine. Uranus in Gemini. Uranus, the planet of innovation and disruption, is in Gemini in 2025, emphasizing technological advancements and communication-driven markets. This placement is particularly favorable for cryptocurrencies, as Uranus is often linked to digital assets and decentralization. For XRP, Uranus in Gemini could highlight its role as a fast communication-focused blockchain, potentially boosting investor interest. Okay, that's Uranus. That's the next 7 years. That's not 24 hours. Okay. Saturn in Aries. Saturn's presence in Aries suggests a push for structure and discipline in innovative fields. Innovative. For crypto markets, this could mean increased regulatory scrutiny, which might create short-term uncertainty for XRP, given its history with the SEC. However, Saturn's influence could also stabilize markets by weeding out weaker projects, potentially benefiting established coins like XRP. Interesting. So, markets. Wow, that's up a lot. So, yeah, all the markets are green right now. Anyways, I just trade XRP. Oops. Okay, let's go over here. Jupiter in Leo. The planet of expansion in Leo encourages bold investments and speculative enthusiasm. This could drive positive sentiment in both crypto and stocks and crypto, particularly for assets with strong branding or institutional backing like XRP. However, Jupiter's tendency to amplify can also lead to overconfidence, risking corrections if expectations are unmet. Okay, Mercury, blah, 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 blah. Specific astrological sentiment for XRP next 24 hours. Thank you. This is what I was looking for. Using XRP's hypothetical birth chart, June 2nd, 2012, San Francisco, here's how current transits might influence its market sentiment over the next 24 hours. Moon in Sagittarius transiting XRP's natal moon, if in Sagittarius. If XRP's natal moon is in Sagittarius, the current moon transit could amplify optimism around XRP, potentially driving short-term price increases. Traders may view XRP as a global leader in payments, boosting demand. However, if the moon squares Mars or Jupiter, volatility could spike. Why would you not know if it's going to square Mars or Jupiter? Mars? Jupiter. How would you not know? Can't you do the thing? Okay. I think I'm going to have to get one of these apps so that we can do it completely together. Okay. Okay. Uranus in Gemini transiting natal sun Mercury in Gemini. Uranus transiting XRP's natal sun and Mercury could spark sudden interest or innovation related news, such as advancements in RippleNet or new partnerships. This transit supports XRP's technological edge, but may also introduce unexpected volatility. Saturn in Aries opposing natal Venus, retrograde in Gemini. Saturn's opposition to XRP's natal Venus could signal regulatory or partnership challenges, echoing the SEC lawsuit lingering effects. This transit might dampen short-term enthusiasm, urging caution among traders. However, a favorable resolution or news, for example, SEC leadership changes, could mitigate this. Jupiter in Leo trining natal Jupiter if in Aries or Sagittarius. Market context. Outlook for the next 24 hours. Let's take a look at this. Sorry. Stock market, the moon in Sagittarius and Jupiter and Leo suggested cautiously optimistic sentiment with potential for gains in tech and growth stocks. However, Mercury and Virgo may lead traders to focus on fundamentals, potentially causing volatility in overvalued sectors. A mixed day with selective buying is likely. Crypto market, Uranus in Gemini and the moon in Sagittarius. Uranus in Gemini and the moon in Sagittarius. The moon... Uranus in Gemini, so that's Gem. And the moon in Saggy. Okay. Create a dynamic environment favoring innovative projects like XRP. The crypto market may see increased trading volume, but Saturn in Aries warns of regulatory risks, which could cap gains or trigger pullbacks. Which is kind of why I feel like it's gonna come down again. But I would not bet on me if I was a betting person. Well, I believe in myself. Plus, this was the Head and Shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder. It's just gotta come down and then it can go up. Those are the rules. I made up the rules. It has to follow the rules. XRP specific. XRP is likely to experience mid-bullish sentiment driven by its technological strengths and the optimistic Sagittarius moon. However, Saturn's opposition to natal Venus and recent bearish price action, a 22% plunge to 273, suggests potential short-term volatility or consolidation around $2.87 to $3. And where are we now? The 15-minute, $3. Well, Grok got that one right. Although Grok was looking at the charts just 5 seconds ago. A positive catalyst such as news on Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD or SEC developments could push blah, 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 blah. Okay. Caveats. Interesting. Well, I'm going to post this video, but you guys, I think this is going to be an opportunity for me to learn astrology better and to get an app that does like the top down of all the planets and the trines and the squares and all that, so that we can look at the charts together on a daily basis and analyze that. So anywho, wow, the sun, it's getting hot. Gotta zip out of here. Whew. Starting to get a sunburn. Okay, you guys, love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. And I'll push the button here.